All right, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Yooper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day. How the hell are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing really good. Let's call it as we see it. I'm doing really good. It is St. Patrick's Day when I am recording this. This will go out though on Wednesday. I'll get this video out. You know what, before we get into all that stuff, what are we smoking, what are we drinking? I'm celebrating tonight with my last cigar from the Downtown Lansing Smoking Club. Custom cigars, the guy actually has them specially made. They've been on the channel multiple times. Really good cigar. They're fun, good smokes, well constructed. And honestly, the guy who makes them does a really good job. Nice guy, too. For the drink, you know we had to do it. Guinness Extra Stout, bold and bitter. I mean, you have to, right? On St. Patrick's Day, you have to have, gotta have a Guinness. And yes, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, this is my official Guinness glass from Ireland. One of my all-time favorite glasses. Sorry, we're going to see if we can do a good, perfect Guinness pour here. And up. Oh, look at that. Almost perfect. Good head on there. Yep. That's a Guinness. And yes, I know the Guinness you get in America is nothing like the Guinness you get in Ireland. Well aware of that. I don't care. It still tastes good. It's not as thick, not as full of proteins and whatnot, but hey, it's still tasty. So besides being St. Patrick's Day, we have officially survived Snowgeddon, how they call it, Ice Storm Elsa 2026. We are about 85% dug out is what my official count. We have a couple of outbuildings that I can't get to. My generator shed, we're not exactly able to get to. We also have a couple other little rooms and whatnot that are almost inaccessible. We basically have to dig our way in, but they're kind of auxiliary. I don't know if we're going to get to them anytime soon. We got most of the roof cleared off, at least to the point that I'm not worried about its structural integrity, but we didn't take it down to asphalt. And I've got the whole driveway open. I've got the garbage can resting area open, and but I mean there's some little stuff with the driveway that could be opened up better, and probably could have opened up one of the decks we're not using. I decided not to shovel that, and structurally it's fine. We don't really use it as egress, so we decided to just leave it for now. We might shovel it here the next day or so. But we finally got to the point we were all tired, we were sore. The snowblower, I promised her a long week to 2 week retreat at the best small engine shop that I can find in town, where they can rebuild belts and gears and treat her nice, because she was the MVP of clearing the snow. We blew a belt, we blew a tire, the engine started flooding and overfiring, started revving up to the point the muffler actually turned red hot while using it. So yeah, she was put through her paces today. I'm definitely heating up the garage, see if we can heat her up a little bit, warm her up a little bit. But we are, this summer, going to find one of the best small engine repair places. I'm gonna drop a few $100 in the guy's pocket and tell him to make her pretty again, because she definitely earned her keep. We had, I believe, 26 inches of snowfall, with 3 to, I think, 4-foot drifts in places. I didn't have to go through many 4-footers. I did go through quite a few 3-foot drifts with the snowblower. We'd undermine it and then come back, collapse it, avalanche it, then undermine it, collapse it, come back. You know, just it was a pain. It probably took, at least 5 hours of running the snowblower to clear a driveway. Usually I can do it in 30 to 45 minutes without a problem. This time it was an uphill battle. So I'm celebrating for that one. One of the main reasons we're out here celebrating some nice beer, nice cigars, is just we survived. We did not lose power. We didn't even lose internet, which is impressive in its own right. We were able to stay warm. We did have a flu go through our house while this storm was coming through, which that was fun. You're sitting there really nervous that your kids are sick and that they're, potentially might have to go into the ER, but that was physically impossible. So without giving away too much of my location, the county I live in basically closed down. The hospital closed down except for the ER. And even then, they said, if you have to call 911, basically they're going to send a plow truck with it. They stopped plowing roads yesterday about 10 a.m. Emergency services were told to use ulterior means to access homes and calls and pick people up. We had, thankfully, a good Samaritan actually plow our road to open it up. The county has still not sent a truck down it since before the storm started. They sent one quick truck down. But, since the storm started, there's been no plow trucks on our road. So if it wasn't for some good Samaritans opening it up, we'd still be unable to access anything, really. But thankfully, we got a good little neighborhood here. We try to help each other out, try to take care of each other. So we were definitely able to, hypothetically, we haven't tried it, but we should be able to get out to the main road. And when I say everything's canceled, I mean everything's canceled. Schools are canceled going on day 3. They were canceled on Monday and Tuesday. We already got notice we're going to be canceled on Wednesday. The church we attend, they actually canceled Stations of the Cross, which is kind of a Catholic thing you do during Lent. They said they didn't really want people out and about risking their lives trying to come in, which I appreciate. I respect that, making that choice. What else has been? Businesses aren't even open. Swedish Compass was supposed to go work at McDonald's. She called to say, I don't know if my road's going to be plowed, but I'll try to make it out. They said, don't even worry about it, because we're probably not going to open. We got notice that many of the gas stations were closed, grocery stores were closed. Big notices on Facebook. Call ahead. Call ahead before risking your life. Just kind of crazy. Like I said, we weathered it just fine. We have lots of emergency preparedness gear. Besides the snowblower acting up, which again I will allow. She definitely was abused. We fared pretty well. We got the roofs cleared off. We got the porch and the deck cleared off. We got a couple of the man doors opened up. It's could have been a lot worse. I'm very glad that it wasn't worse because, there are some people on our road that are not plowed out yet. I'm not sure if people live in two of the homes. I don't know if anyone actually lives in there. That's why I haven't opened them up. Not to mention, like I said, I don't think our snowblower could last another another abuse like that without some serious TLC beforehand. Um, but it just goes to show kind of a difference in mindset and set and lifestyle. I try to tell some of the coworkers I work with downstate about, how much snow we're getting, how much was anticipated. I actually worked yesterday. I took today off because I knew the whole day was just going to be spent clearing snow and, getting stuff back in working order. But they have no frame of reference, right? 2 feet of snow fell, more than 2 feet of snow fell. Like, they couldn't even fathom that. They don't understand how destructive that is. How you can't even have a civil society when that much snow falls. Many of them who did kind of understand it admitted that, I just have to wait till the city dug us out. Well, there is no city up here. The county's going to do what they can, but in truth, there's very little they can do. This amount of snow, this amount of sheer volume is more than even the most well-funded township or city in the state could handle. You're talking, it's not just one quick, simple pass with a plow truck and there you go. It's multiple passes, it's counter passes. Where do you put it, right? Where do you put all this snow once you shovel it out? Thankfully, most of our snow had melted, so we don't have to worry about that. When we lived in Ishpeming many years ago, we got hit with one of these banger storms, and it was like, well, where do you put the snow, right? Your piles of snow are already 8 feet high in your yard, and your snow thrower can only throw 7. So, you can't throw it up over the hill. Luckily, again, as Yoopers will do, there was guys who had front end loaders and heavy equipment that could move your snow pile, at least knock it down. We sent our kids out there to just go knock it down as best they could, and they did. But yeah, it's otherworldly, and it's hard to explain to people who aren't from here or haven't experienced this what that's really like. To literally have an entire city shut down. I mean, you had nothing. No food, no water, or potentially no electricity, which may lead to no water depending on where you live. Hospitals, EMS, police, fire. I mean, they just can't get to you, period. But we survive, right? Some people will swear, not only did we survive this, some people thrived in it. Right? They kept on living and living a good life in it. So, power to them. That's something you can't explain to someone downstate. Big disasters like this strike, and they, get on their knees and put their hands out and beg for help from a civil authority. Now, I'm not saying our civil authorities are unwilling. More, they're just unable. The sheer volume of what it would take is beyond comprehension. The sheer mass of the distances you have to travel from one resident to another is staggering. Now, the county will, over the next, week, catch up all the roads. Luckily, we're getting into a warming pattern, so a lot of this snow will just melt on its own before the county has to really worry about it. But I truly believe that, a lot of these people live in cities who believe they're civilized would not do well, right? I shudder to say they might do very poorly. I'm trying to pick my words here carefully. it was funny. I was in one of our kind of local grocery stores. We got notice that they were going to be closed during the storm. They closed on, I think, Monday and Tuesday. So a lot of people are going in there trying to get their, a couple of groceries. Well, okay, people weren't exactly getting like bottled water and, extra maybe freeze-dried food or meals that you can make without electricity. They were buying alcohol, beer, liquor, wine. They those are our essentials, right? We're not panic buying toilet paper. Well, if I'm going to be without power for 2 days, I've done that before. I've got canned food I can heat up at home, but if the beer runs low, that's desperate. Even a couple of the workers, I do give this guy props. The guy who owns the store actually came and gave each of his employees basically a $50 gift card to buy some supplies, because some people are going to be without power for a week at least. Some people are going to be hand digging their driveways. So he's a very generous guy. Again, good Yooper, good local. Gave them some gift cards with one stipulation though: they couldn't buy alcohol with it. So there's a lot of guys kind of complain about that. I guess I'll buy some some hamburger helper meals or some beefaroni or what is that stuff called? Chef Boyardee. But then that'll save me money later on. That I can use that money now to buy some beer with. I do shudder to think if this storm was to hit below the 45th parallel, right? Below what I actually consider everything north of the 45th, that's civilization. Everything south of that, that's no man's land. But what if it would have hit down there? 2 feet of actual snow that falls. And anyone who doesn't know, it was 50-mile-per-hour winds too. So if you don't know, 2 feet of snow falls, but then 4 feet of snow or 3 feet of snow blows into your yard, blows into your driveway. You get drifts, you get, snow was blowing in our man door around the cracks. It was blowing so hard, it was forcing the snow around the door jamb, which tells me I do need to replace that insulation and that sealant on that door, because that shouldn't happen. It did. But what if this would have happened downstate? I actually shudder to think what would happen, what would be the reaction, what people would do. I'm glad I live in an area and I have a mindset for the area about being ready, being prepared. It was very relaxing. I could sit down and watch the storm roll in, watch the driveway fill up with snow, we had a little window that kind of gives us good measure for how much snow there is. It's not really inside the windy areas. So as snow builds up, the kids were marking it on the window. And it got up a good solid 2 feet, piled up. Now I think once it got to one point, then it did start getting a little drifty, but good solid 2 feet at least of snow up on this window. But instead of being scared, I could watch it and laugh. We told jokes. We actually had stuff in case the power went out to play Dungeons and Dragons and board games. The kids were actually a little depressed that the power didn't go out because we didn't get to play this epic power outage Dungeons and Dragons quest. I know no one downstate would have thought of that, having board games and quests. So, yeah. I'm glad for the culture I live in. I'm glad for the area I live in. Being ready for a bad winter storm is just something everyone up here has to do. Because if you don't, even a mild winter storm can take you out. Like I said, I think we weathered this one great. The only downside I had is I did not have a proper spare belt for my snowblower. So when my belt broke, I had to improvise one. And I was able to. I improvised it. Got a short-term fix for a long-term problem. As soon as my road opens up, the first thing I'm doing tomorrow is swinging down to the hardware store and buying some replacement belts, because I thought I had extras. The one I put in turns out it must be for the lawnmower. So I had to kind of improvise and do a little workaround, do a little country boy solution. But it worked fine. Again, it opened up the whole driveway, which we have a very long driveway. It's 1/10 of a mile, so needless to say, that was a lot of work. Boy, folks, yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to go enjoy my Guinness, enjoy my very tasty cigar. I'm going to hit a bunch of Motrin here soon because I know my back is definitely going to be hating me. And just try to relax and be thankful, that God gave us a lot of protection during this storm. Be thankful that I, as a Yooper, live up to the culture of being tough and ready and prepared. And yeah, just kind of enjoy the fact that I was able to get myself dug out, which I know some people weren't able to. So again, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that God gave me that ability. Anyway, folks, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.